Hi, my name is Brianna Daniels. I'm a bio major pre-med track year 2023. And today I will be talking about NOTCH3 expression in H3CS, which is high-grade serous ovarian cancer, and the NOTCH3 targeting in retaliation to ovarian cancer. I chose this topic due to my mom being diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2023 and later becoming cancer free in that year of 2020. This is one of many cases that um, has been tested and has had various cases to whether or not it is working for ovarian cancer and if it is not working for ovarian cancer. So this is one of the ways that show how it may not work for ovarian cancer, and also just a new finding to show that there's still more ways to explore this topic and for scientists to experiment more on it. So what is ovarian cancer? This is a cancer that starts in the female organs that produces ovaries, or as we know it, eggs. The ovaries have three kinds of cells. Each cell can develop different types of tumors, and this is the alveolar tumors, germ cell tumors, and the stromal tumors. Some tumors can be deemed as benign, which is non-cancerous, and will not spread beyond the ovary. Others is the cancers or the borderline cancerous tumors, which do spread to other parts of the body and can be fatal. Each ovarian cancer has a specific grade based on how much the tumor looks like normal tissue. So a normal tissue, a tumor that looks like normal tissue is grade 1 and has a better outlook for a survival rate, while grade 3 looks less like normal tissue and has a less likely survival rate. On the left-hand side shows ovarian cancer um, from a regular ovary and a cancerous ovary that has tumors on it, and which shows the tissue damage. And then there are the three types of ovarian cancer, which correlate to the tumors. So the uveal ovarian cancer is a tumor that starts on the outside of the ovary. The majority of the cancer-causing ovarian tumors are uveal. And then there is stromal cancer, which starts from ovarian cells that makes hormones. This is diagnosed early and they make up about 1% of ovarian cancer. And then the germ cell cancer is usually starts in egg cells, which is usually occurs in younger women and girls and is less than 2% of ovarian cancer. So the key statistics for ovarian cancer is that about 21,000 women will receive a new diagnosis of ovarian cancer. Older age is the main risk factor. So the older you get is the more likely you will have getting cancer. But about 13,000 women will die from ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer ranks fifth in the leading causes of cancers that cause death, accounting for more deaths than any other cancer in the female reproductive system. A woman that is at risk of ovarian cancer during her lifetime is 1 in 78, and about 1 in 108 is the chances of dying. So the risk factors include family history of ovarian cancer of the first degree. So that means your mother, your sister, your daughter, and it can be inherited from changes in the BRCA or BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene. Other hereditary conditions include hereditary um, um, conditions such as the HNPCC, which is the Lynch syndrome, as well as endometriosis and postmenopausal hormone therapy and obesity, as well as your height. So ovarian cancer survival rates is shown in this figure where stage 1 through stage 4, and then the types of ovarian cancer and the tumors. So it is a higher rate for those that have stage 1 or stage 2 cancers. And depending on the type of cancer, it goes from left to right as sort of kind of higher or lower. And then from stage 3 and stage 4, it is a less likely survival rate for invasive alluvial ovarian cancer, which is 17%. And then the next lowest being 35% for ovarian stromal tumors. And then fallopian tube, which is 40%. And then the highest being ovarian germ cell tumors, which is 69%. Now, the highest survival rate is probably the ovarian germ cell tumors, and then the lowest being the invasive alluvial ovarian cancer due to the high jump from 70% to 39% in stage 3 and 17% in stage 4. For diagnosis, since many women do not get screening for ovarian cancer until they are a certain age, it is usually hard to realize that a woman has ovarian cancer because most symptoms are very similar to other symptoms that can cause a lot of different things. So some screenings and exams include the physical exam of the body, ultrasound, the CA-125 assay, which is a test that measures your level of CA-125 in your blood and shows the increase of a CA-125 level, which could mean that you have cancer or another condition that needs to be taken seriously. A pap smear test of the cervix is also done to show signs of the disease, as well as doing a pelvic exam. In this, it shows the transvaginal ultrasound to determine the ovary shape, and then to say if you have ovarian cancer or not, and then an annual vaginal and pelvic examination, and then a blood test to measure a substance produced from the ovaries, which will show if you have it or not. So the percentage of ovarian cancer cases diagnosed by age group. So the highest is 55 to 64, which is 24%, and then the lowest being around a little over 20, which is 1%. It is usually higher in the 55 to 64 age range because that is usually when women are usually tested for this. Common symptoms of ovarian cancer, as I stated before, is usually very common symptoms for a lot of other cases of disease or something. So the common symptoms include bloating, pelvic or abdominal pain, difficulty eating, feeling full quickly, urinary urgency or frequency. This is these are very common, so it's very hard for a doctor to just automatically think that it's ovarian cancer. This is why many doctors usually, common doctors and not like the specialist doctors usually say it's something else instead of sending them to get screened for this ovarian cancer. The lack of effective screening puts many women in later stages, which is around the stage 3 and stage 4 cancer. And they are usually diagnosed in later stages with their age. So when you're around 55 to 60, most of the time you're around stage 3 by that point, because the ovarian cancer is usually there for around a longer time than you think, but symptoms do not show up until that stage. For these stages, there are four ovarian cancer stages, staging from stage 1 to stage 4. The lower the number shows the less of the cancer that has spread, and a higher number, such as stage 4, means that the cancer has spread more. There are also 3 factors to classify this cancer, and one being the size of the cancer and if it has spread to the outside of the ovary or the fallopian tube, and also if it has reached nearby pelvic organs such as the uterus or the bladder. The next one is, has it spread to nearby lymph nodes? And if it is around the pelvis or the aorta, which is the main artery that runs from the heart down to the back of the abdomen or pelvis. And then third is the spread to the distant sites, if it has spread to distant organs such as the liver or the bones. So for ovarian cancer treatment, it is usually treated with a combination of chemotherapy and surgery. Standard treatment for HGSC includes surgical cytoreduction, as well as a combination of chemotherapy, which is usually platinum and paclitaxel, which is what my mother used. But there can also be numerous of other not ovarian, but numerous other chemotherapies that can be used, as shown in this red box. Based on what type of ovarian cancer it is, there are 3 standard treatments, which is chemotherapy, targeted therapy, and surgery. And then there are also new types of treatments being tested in clinical trials, which is radiation therapy and immunotherapy. Next, I will be talking about what is NOTCH3 and the outlooks of NOTCH3. So NOTCH3 is a part of the NOTCH family, which is categorized from NOTCH1, NOTCH2, NOTCH3, and NOTCH4. And they also have they also are provided instructions and make proteins with one end, which is the intracellular end that remains inside of the cell, and then they span out to the next end, which is the extracellular end that is projected from the outer surface of the cell. Most patients with NOTCH3 alterations demonstrated poor survival rates, and the NOTCH3 expression levels are also correlated with tumorigenic phenotypes such as rapid growth, viability, cell cycle arrest, and the death of the cells. It is also show that strong evidence indicating that NOTCH3 in ovarian cancer development shows the simulation and progression of tumors. So it basically shows how like the NOTCH3 really isn't showing much success with killing off any tumors, but it's really showing the progression of it. So NOTCH3 activity decreases survival and upregulates expression of adhesion genes and increases tumor cell affinity. So the results of NOTCH3 expression and signaling in ID8-IP2 gene are that the ID8 is a cell line that is used to model ovarian cancer in mice. It has similar characteristics to the HGSC, such as morphologic features, tumor distribution, and protein containing fluid accumulation in the abdomen. The ID8 derived tumors closely mimic the HGSC histology. Scientists determined that the baseline levels of NOTCH3 expression in the ID8 IP2 by looking at the mRNA levels. And it was concluded that there was little to no expression of the gene in the protein. Receptors such as the NOTCH1, NOTCH2, and NOTCH4, and NOTCH ligands, Jagged1 and Delta-like1, were also expressed in ID8 IP2. However, the NOTCH3 was not shown, but did show a specific, unique and specific role in HGSC, and showed the alterations found in the NOTCH3. In figure A, it shows how NOTCH3 is not really detectable in the ID8 IP2 cell, but it does show how all the other ones are. In figure B, it shows how it is also not really detectable compared to the previous categorized detected levels of NOTCH3. In figure C, it shows the expression of the NOTCH3 being compared to the other ones and showing the upregulation of the NOTCH3 IC and how it is infected the ID8 IP2. And then for D, it shows the quantitative real-time polymerase chain reaction, which indicates that Notch target genes are upregulated in NOTCH3 IC. And then for E, it shows that the selected established Notch target genes are upregulated in RNA sequence. So for the results, it can be concluded that the total number of mice that were injected with the NOTCH3CI, which was 25, and the mice that were injected with the matched control cells, which was 27, had basically a shorter survival rate to the control mice. So the injected mice with the NOTCH3 IC had a life expectancy of 65 days, while the control mice had 69 days. There's no significant difference in the survival rate that was observed, but it does show how in stage 1 and stage 2 that the high expression of NOTCH3 IC predicts poor prognosis, and how it is not predicted for stage 3 and stage 4 of the disease. It does also show how the NOTCH3 activation promotes early phases of metastatic disease, and shows how the human series ovarian cancer is revealed. So for the discussion, I basically just wanted to reiterate on how NOTCH3 can highlight that there is still more work to be done, and how there is still a cut between if they really think it works and really think that it does not work. And many scientists are still studying how NOTCH3 can either be effective or ineffective for ovarian cancer. The role of NOTCH3 signaling highlights the importance of adhesion in metastasis and suggests new targets for controlling ovarian cancers. Further study of the NOTCH3 targets can show important mechanisms of ovarian cancer progression. And over time, it can be seen that the translational research will eventually help the management of cancer patients. And this can show that one day maybe a new finding of NOTCH3 will actually be helpful towards ovarian cancer patients and not cause a less life expectancy for that patient. I thank you for your time. This is my Works Cited page, and have a good day.